Hey guys, so it is April 25th and it's been about 10 days since I did a garden update and a lot of things have changed, so I wanted to take you around the garden and just show you what's going on. So right here, the flowers are starting to bloom big time. All these beautiful nasturtiums in here. These bright orange ones. I just put all my nasturtium seeds together and started sowing a bunch of them, so I'm surprised to see what is coming up and what colors, but that is a really awesome orange color. And in here I'm about to pick this yellow squash, and I've got several more in here that are little bitty babies. And then right here where my flowers are, I got the calendulas blooming now. Look at this, it's like I have a wasp on one of my calendulas, and this is a mixed color one that I got from Baker Creek that has different pastel colors of orange and red and rusty browns and golds. And then the bachelor buttons that are planted in this little planter are also starting to bloom and looking beautiful. These purple ones, very beautiful, very exciting. So generally, I plant my garden at the same time every spring. Every early spring, I start putting seeds in January for my long season summer vegetables like tomatoes and peppers. And in February, I start planting seeds for zinnias and sunflowers, and I do that through March. And I planted in this planter where my other yellow crookneck squash is. I've got 7. I got about 7 in this bed, and a lot of these are the mammoth sunflowers and different ones. I didn't have any of the lemon queens that I love, the multi-branching bright yellow ones this year to plant, but I did have some other ones that I picked up at different places that said they were, about this tall. This one's about 4 feet tall, so I tried to plant several different varieties that were 4 feet tall, and then I planted some mammoth ones. And so mid-May is the usual time that these guys bloom, and it is April 25th, and I already have a few blooms popping out today. And last year, our sunflowers didn't bloom until after July, I think July 6th, July 7th. Not July, June. So they were about 2+ weeks late last year, according to my average. And this year, they're 2+ weeks early. So that is very exciting. And then you can see that all of these guys are right behind them. I'm not sure what variety that I planted here, but like I say, I planted a lot of yellow ones that said that they were going to get 4 to 5 feet tall. And then I planted some mammoth ones, and I believe like that one's a mammoth, that one's a mammoth. And then I came in here and planted some dwarfs, and also some of the autumn beauty blends. So looking forward to see where my autumn beauties end up. They might be later, but these sunflowers are making me happy, blooming early. I got a little dwarf one right here. This one looks like it might be a colored one, so I'm really super excited about that. And my pepper plants are looking good, my little Buena Mulatas. And I believe, besides my sunflower, I'm going to be on, look at this nasturtium. Very pretty. It's like a gold with some red, bright orange accents to it, and it's variegated. Really pretty. So I believe I'm fixing to start pulling out all of these broccolis and the Savannah mustard, and I'm probably going to plant my okra seeds here. So that's what's probably going to go on there pretty quick. Here's my other flower bed, and I planted all these from transplant, so they're evenly spaced out. The poppies are not blooming yet, but the cosmos are. So there's some beautiful cosmos, and this cilantro, I'm letting it go to seed because it's like my filler flower. It looks like baby's breath in there. There's another small sunflower. And then here's some pink bachelor buttons that I planted right here that are getting ready to bloom. And these I think were called Texas bluebonnets that I planted in here. And I bet after I planted those from seed, I'll start getting those in my garden, self-seeding. Here's another yellow, butter yellow calendula. And I still have this beautiful kale going right here. And then in this bed, this kale is getting about done. The blue dazzling kale that's in here. It is getting ready to be completely pulled out. And then I just have a couple of sunflowers, some of the dwarf ones right here. And some carrots and onions. And then this little Celebrity Plus Determinate tomato right here. Which it is just now starting to put on some flowers. And then I had a Muscovy duck and their babies were getting in here, and they were just terrorizing the heck out of my green beans. So they tore some of those out, but I got some pickable green beans. Though I haven't had none that were pickable yet, but you can see some more down there. And then I got this bright yellow sunflower right here that's coming up. Got another nasturtium down here that's a bright orange. And these are determinate. Some of those are tachis. But I'm looking forward to when the poppies start blooming. And down here there's more. There's a bright red, ruby red nasturtium down here that the little ducks got a hold of. And I need to prop up this poor little sunflower again. There's some zinnias over here. And then here's one of those pretty yellow 5-foot tall sunflowers that I planted. I'll get a better shot of it. There we go. So super excited to see those faces today. And these Picotee baby pink cosmos. And then in this bed, back to my squash bed, I picked 3 of the squash out of here, and I still got some more coming along that I'm gonna be able to pick soon. And then my peas are drying up from the heat. And then right here where I planted those bunching onions, you can see little onions coming out of the ground right here. And then I still got a nasturtium right there, just getting happier. I cut back all my greens and harvest them. I think tomorrow I'm gonna can some greens. And got some more sunflowers and zinnias. They're all getting ready to pop open over here. And my onions are starting to look really good down there. So turning around, I harvested all these red mustards that are in here. Still got broccoli coming right there. This is another determinate tomato. I think it might be a tachi. You can see I've got little green tomatoes in there. This one's got a lot of flowers on it. And then right here in this bed, the compost bed, peppers are continuing to grow. And the indeterminate tomatoes that I popped in here as an experiment are starting to get bigger. And there's actually a whole cluster of tomatoes on that one. Some of these are cherry tomatoes. There's more little baby ones on here. And there's my broccoli down there, a couple more peppers. And then in this big long bed right here where my carrots are, I got some onions. And then here's the radishes that are coming up that I planted in that little hole. Pruned up and harvested a bunch of dill for my dill plant. And then this is new. This is where I cleaned out my asparagus bed that I haven't harvested from in a while. There's a couple asparagus in there, but look at all the zinnia seeds and flower seeds that are coming up. You can see some purple ones in there. I think those are gonna be some amaranths. So here is a look at the other end of the flower bed, and you can see all those beautiful zinnia flowers coming up. All sorts of different things. I planted flower rockets in here. There's a little asparagus coming up. I planted amaranth, zinnias, marigolds, assorted flower mixes. I'm wondering if those little sprigs right there are cosmos that are coming up. I planted cosmos in here and poppies, just a whole bunch of different things because I wanted this to all fill up with flowers for the bees since I haven't been planting anything in here. And then going around to the bed that I just pulled all the potatoes out of, I planted some sunflowers right here on the end, which haven't come up yet. Some mammoth sunflowers. And then I planted radishes in these two little rows. Dollar weeds are going to be the death of me. And then the rest of the bed, I planted 4 different mounds of an assorted summer squash blend that I got off of Amazon. Had several different green zucchinis, yellow squash, gray squash, light green zucchini. I don't know, maybe like 7 or so different kinds in one pack. And they just started coming up. This one has some baby squash in there, and then the middle one has some baby squash in there. So I just popped my little cloches on here that I got from Amazon. And then the same time I planted the squash, I planted a row of I think these are French breakfast radishes right here. And then there's a couple of cucumbers, I think cucumbers or watermelon, I don't remember. And then this whole row down through there is zinnias. So I want to plant more zinnias down this side and hope that they get bigger before the squash gets super big. But this is just an experiment. In the past, I've always started my squash super early, just like I did the summer squash super early and the winter squash, and then kept them covered up and protected for a while, and then uncovered them. And I did the same thing over there, but being that it's been so cool and it's been a while even with the cover on to get, and it's not been cool, it's been warm, but it's been nice. It's been like 70 in the day, but some of these nights have been in the low 50s, so the squash haven't been liking that. So this is just an experiment to see what will happen with these, starting them in April, where in succession of the ones that are just starting to put off. So we'll see. Let's see what else is going on that's new. Some stuff is coming up. I just thinned these carrots again the other day. Got me a quart of baby carrots, and I pulled up a lot. They were real super tiny, and gave to my rabbits. So hopefully that'll pay off by getting more bigger carrots in here. And then the tomato bed I guess it's turning into the tomato bed. It used to be the collard bed, but those are the seeds. There's 3 or 4 little baby cucumbers coming up because I had planted several, I was transplanting several tomatoes right here, and they were dying immediately, so I planted something different. And these are determinate tomatoes, and they are just now putting on flowers that I can tell. This one has some little baby fruit on it. So there's 3 tomato plants, and then here's another one of those dwarf sunflowers. And just to see what's going on in one of my indeterminate beds right here. This is the first bed of indeterminates that I planted. And you can see they're getting to be about 6 foot tall right there. But you can see all the blooms. I just fertilized these with the Dr. Earth's bloom liquid fertilizer. But this is some kind of cherry tomato. I think it's a large red cherry tomato, so it's setting a bunch of fruit right there. This is another indigo blue cherry tomato. It's got lots of flowers. And then down here I got some Dr. Witchies and some black crims and some lemon boys. So you can see we're on our way to having fresh tomatoes, and I'm super excited for that. There's another beautiful nasturtium, some marigolds, and I also there's some volunteer peas down here. I planted some shelling peas here last year, but there's a lot of marigolds on this side. So yeah, looking good overall. We either have little tomatoes or we got the cherry tomatoes we're going to put out first as usual, but got lots of flowers. So spinning around to this bed right here that's next to the collard bed, we have 4 tomato plants in here, and this is a bush steak Burby's determinate. We've got 2 sunflowers growing in here and 2 more right there. And this is probably the Tachi. I need to stake him to his stake, or tie him to his stake. But he's got, I think the Tachi is the one coming on early in these determinants. But I need to tie him to his stake. And then I got a couple more tomatoes in here. Gave my mustards a good haircut. Now they're already coming back. Got some broccoli. This is the Green Magic. And then I got another tomato plant, some basil, and a bunch of Marconi peppers in that bed. And then this is going to be the vining squash trellis this year. We'll start with this one. We got some beautiful calendulas. Got a beautiful sunflower, will be sunflower. Got some jalapeno peppers popped in here. Some more peppers that are pretty happy. Some celery back here. We got caserta and rapicante, and hopefully some spaghetti squash growing in here. So nice to see. There are starting to be some blooms. It looks like male blooms. Those are all male blooms, so we'll see how it goes. But that's pretty exciting. This one back here, we have more of the same. And I see a bunch of male blooms, but I don't see any female blooms yet. This could be a cucumber. These could be cucumbers right here. And then I have some green organic Burpees tomatillos right here in the front, and some basil. And then these beds over here are starting to look more full. These are peppers and marigolds, eggplants, and then I planted 4 sunflowers in here. So different heights. And they are getting ready to bloom. This one is another one of those 5 foot tall ones, and it is getting ready to open probably tomorrow. And then on this end, I've got some beautiful nasturtiums. Look at these nasturtiums. Got bright oranges, beautiful persimmon reds, light yellows, and my striped bush beans coming on. And that's exciting. And then in this little tub, I planted flowers, all flowers. So there's a couple nasturtiums. There's a pretty salmon pink one over there. And this one is really pretty when it's already bloomed out and did its thing, but it's like a really variegated orange and yellow. Then I have some cosmos and some zinnias that haven't did their thing yet in here. So we'll go and see what's going on in the back, because that's my potato row. There's nothing there, and then that's another indeterminate tomato. So right here in the cucumber bed, I popped in a few watermelons. Those are what those are down there. And then these are cucumbers. And this is just a determinate tomato. More cucumbers. And then on this bed, this is more of our vining and bushing squash. So some of these are going to be summer squash. Some of them might end up being winter squash. But I've got to come in here now. They've grown so much in the past couple days. It's been hot. Supposed to be 90 degrees. And I need to, this weekend, so I need to start tying those up. But that is what that's looking like right now. Put some mulch on my lettuce leaf basil and on my hatch chili peppers. And I got some jalapenos that I need to uncover by tying these up. But there's a lot of blooms on my tomatillas too. So I got more tomatillas with my squash down here. I've never put them two together, but they got put together this year. This is the other side of the cucumber bed, and then right here on this side of it, I need to pull my cucumbers back up against the fence because I got little baby roulette heatless habaneros there. So the last bed that we're going to look at is the other determinate bed, and these have Dr. Witchy's, Lemon Boys, Black Creme, Indigo cherry tomatoes. Look at these. They love it right here. They get a lot of that morning sun on this corner, and they are happy. There's another sunflower right there. Another sunflower right there. So yeah, these are just a mixture of blue and gold and red cherry tomatoes, and then yellow and red and the black creme and Chef's Choice black tomatoes. So pretty soon it's gonna be time. Look at the cherry tomatoes there. Pretty soon it's gonna be time to start picking some tomatoes, and then it'll be on. But you can see how big these nasturtiums are over here. So apparently they are liking the soil and the environment right here, because these are the biggest, tallest nasturtiums. This is a nasturtium leaf. These are much bigger than a lot of the ones in other places. So there's something about this soil or this location or a combination of both that they are really loving back here, because they are just putting on a ton of leaves and they're not really putting on any flowers yet, but they are enormous. So there must be a lot of nitrogen going on there. This little bed is some more celery. I just pruned it all up, and some mustards are in here, and that's it. So that's all that's going on April 25th in the garden. I'll give you a kind of a view from this direction. You can see all the sunflowers are starting to jump and open up. You can see my dill is humongous right there. It's volunteer dill. I'll probably never have to plant dill again. My tomatoes are getting super tall, and the winter stuff is coming out and all the flowers are starting to bloom. It's a very exciting time in the garden. It's April and May and June is where all the magic is happening at. Everything changes by the hour. So hope you enjoyed the video, the little update. And I didn't show you, but that was my other little tire that I planted full of flowers. My poppy isn't popping yet, but the cosmos, the marigolds, the salvia, they're all blooming, looking beautiful. And this is the Sirius blue sage or salvia, and it is absolutely a killer in the garden. The bees, the butterflies, everything love it. It's bright, brilliant, drought resistant, just an absolute wonderful flower to have. All right, well, that is what is going on, and I will talk to you guys hopefully in another week or two. I'll be able to update you guys on what else is going on, what else is blooming, and what else we're picking. So today I got to tie up some tomato plants, pick some green beans and squash, and tie up some squash, some vining squash. So I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.